The energy costs, declining generation and supply, and plant retirements, rising fuel costs and pipeline constraints, and of course the growing demand for electrification without increasing our base load generation. On the reliability, the NISO has said short and long-term reliability gaps. In 2040, you need 27 to 40 gigawatts of dispatchable emission-free resources. Our total generating capacity in New York is 41 gigawatts with wind, solar, hydro, natural gas, oil, and nuclear. Wind and solar does not count towards that because it's not dispatchable. So we don't know what the technology is. It's not there yet. We think nuclear, advanced nuclear, carbon capture, sequestration, renewable natural gas, but we're not there yet. So we need natural gas. People want natural gas. They want energy choice. There was a poll last summer. 71% of New Yorkers do not want a ban on natural gas, including 76% of independents. 2/3 of New Yorkers want a balance between renewable resources and natural gas, including 74% of Democrats. That same poll said 80% said their utility bills are too high. You don't need a poll to say that, but the fact of the matter is people want energy choice and they want natural gas. And all this is being done. 60% of New Yorkers heat their homes with natural gas. 40% of our generation comes from natural gas. We need to build more power online. We need natural gas, build new natural gas, repower existing natural gas. Now, natural gas has always been referred to as a bridge fuel, correct? You don't tear down a bridge before you build a new one, do you? But that's exactly what they're doing. Rest assured, our Senate and Assembly Republican Conference will continue to be outspoken about this, continue to hold the feet to the fire of the governor and the Democrats in Albany, but we will continue to advocate for a common sense energy agenda that prioritizes affordability, reliability, feasibility, fuel diversity, and energy choice, because New York families and businesses deserve it.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, I'm your host. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning, and I'm so glad that you joined us this morning. We have a lot to discuss. We also have, listen to this lineup. We have a clip from yesterday's press conference with Assemblyman Phil Palmisano as Assembly and Senate Republicans outline a path to lower energy costs and strengthen New York's grid. We're going to hear from Phil in a little bit, just shortly. Then, later on in this hour, we're going to hear again from Amy Harpster. She's going to tell us, as it nears, the St. Baldrick's events. There's actually more than just the shaving that you may know, that fundraiser. There's a lot more coming up in the next few days and weeks. So we're going to hear from her in this hour. Then in the 7 o'clock hour, we are going to hear from Mark Margison, who is running for Chemung County Executive. So as I said, it's a busy show, so let's hit the ground running and get through as much as we possibly can. Starting with viewer comments, Mark writes in, "Good morning, Frank," and I say, "Good morning, Mark. Boy, they sure did rip Tim Walz in his interview, and the same for Kristi Noem." Yeah, the Kristi Noem. We'll talk about the 5 key takeaways, according to Fox, just quickly, because we've got to obviously get into Iran. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but they went low. The Democrats definitely went low with Kristi Noem. Definitely asked in kind of smug manner about quite a few, I think, relatively, whatever you think about Kristi Noem, went down the road of inappropriate, but we'll talk more about that. Mark continues to write, and resolution aiming to stop involvement in Iran fails to pass in the Senate. Yeah, we're going to talk about that specifically. That was to rein in the powers of President Trump. Again, Senator Fetterman reaching across the aisle. Notice they don't call him a maverick. When a Republican reaches across the aisle, like in the instance of John McCain, he's a maverick when he votes with Democrats. When a Democrat does it, not greeted with as much applause. Starting on a sad note, Lou Holtz, the legendary college football coach who led Notre Dame to their last national championship, has passed away at the age of 89. He entered hospice care earlier this year, but remained in high spirits as he entered the final phase of his life, a life that certainly left its mark on the world of college football, as Holtz first gained national prominence guiding the Arkansas Razorbacks to an 11-1 record and a thrilling bowl victory over Oklahoma. So again, for our college football fans, Lou Holtz, passing away at the age of 89. He was a vocal advocate, by the way, in 2020 for President Trump and remained so during the run-up to the president's 2024 second term. Okay, on the political front, I've got a couple of updates from yesterday's primaries. An update, cane wielding. What's the word I want to use? Evicted from the State of the Union now twice. Kind of, at least that I remember, under Trump, escorted out. Al Green has been forced into a Texas Democratic primary runoff by the House's newest member. Al Green will need to win a May runoff against fellow Representative Christian Menefee to keep his seat in Congress beyond next January. Menefee, just 37 years old, edged Green by less than 2 percentage points in Tuesday's primary for the 18th Congressional District, but failed to reach the 50% threshold required to avoid a second contest on May 26th. Menefee, the newest member of the House, was backed by former Democratic National Committee Vice Chair David Hogg as part of the ongoing effort to oust members of the party's old guard. And if you remember, that was one of the reasons why they wanted to, and ultimately did, oust David Hogg. The chair, remember this? The chair, and see, his name escapes me. He wasn't getting the attention that he wanted, and he was crying on that phone call that David Hogg was getting all the attention. Well, Hogg said at the time he wanted younger, newer faces to primary kind of the old guard Democrats. There was a lot of upset over that within the Democrat Party, but it looks as if, in this case, David Hogg was somewhat successful. Time will tell if he was ultimately successful on May 26th. Menifee, a former Harris County attorney, won a special election January 31st to replace the late Representative Sylvester Turner, who passed away on March 5th, 2025, after just 2 months in office. Menifee and Green were forced to compete in a rare all-incumbent primary after Texas Republican-controlled legislature drew new maps that placed sections of Green's former 9th congressional district into Menifee's 18th. We don't need to go through the whole map and all of that, but we know that Green has been ejected. I said evicted. I didn't mean that. I meant ejected. I couldn't think of the word. Ejected from the House chambers for disrupting Trump's past 2 addresses to Congress. He has repeatedly brought up articles of impeachment. It's kind of his shtick. It's kind of his go-to. If you recall, back in 2025, during the speech, Green was the one saying you don't have a mandate and yelling. And anyway, we don't need to go through all that. So Al Green forced into a primary. Okay, Jasmine Crockett has conceded that race. Now, she said... she had said on the night of the election she was leaving her own election party saying this is going to be a long night. We want to make sure every vote is counted, kind of complaining about Republicans for some reason, rigging the race. That never really made sense. But Jasmine Crockett endorsed her opponent, James Tallarico, after conceding her loss in the primary. But the far-left firebrand would not make plans to campaign for Tallarico. That could be a good thing for Tallarico. The freshman House Democrat had secured high-profile endorsements from Vice President Kamala Harris and rapper Cardi B, but underperformed in the Tuesday primary. Wow, Kamala Harris came out and endorsed Jasmine Crockett. Interesting. A loss she blamed on confusion among voters at Dallas polling locations due to last-minute court rulings and even, as she said, cheating. Crockett said in a statement that Democrats must remain united as Tallarico continues to campaign amid a runoff race against either Senator John Cornyn or Attorney General Ken Paxton. She said in her statement this morning, I called James and congratulated him on becoming the Senate nominee. With the primary behind us, Democrats must rally around our nominees and win. I'm committed to doing my part and will continue working to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. The freshman congresswoman had left a voice message with Tallarico but didn't commit to campaigning for him in the general election. She said she would not make plans for other people's campaigns. All right, continuing, Mark Halpern asks a question. Is Democrat James Tallarico the real deal or just Beto O'Rourke 2.0 headed for a Texas flop? Because remember, this is very similar to Beto, that we were told this is it. Texas, deep red Texas is going to go blue. Is this another scenario where Tallarico is being praised? Well, look, Stephen Colbert refused to endorse Jasmine Crockett. Apparently he liked Tallarico so much. Democrats, it said, but hope, untethered from history, can become its own kind of mirage. Democrats once believed O'Rourke would do it. Before that, it was Wendy Davis. Each time the money poured in, the national media swooned, and Texas Republicans quietly counted votes. Tallarico said, a little bit of hope is a dangerous thing. He meant it as an inspiration. In Texas politics, it may prove prophetic. All right. Continuing, we're moving quick. A story we brought to you a few times. Representative Tony Gonzalez, who just advanced to a runoff in his Texas district's primary election, did admit yesterday that he had an extramarital affair with a staffer who then later committed suicide by setting herself on fire. Gonzalez said on an interview with the Joe Pag show, I made a mistake and I had a lapse in judgment. And there was a lack of faith, and I take full responsibilities for those actions. He indicated that he has reconciled with his wife since the May 2024 affair with his late staffer, married mom, Regina Santos Ivels. He said, Gonzalez saying, I've asked God to forgive me, which he has. When you make mistakes like this, it's never easy. It humbles you. Now, the House Ethics Committee is investigating, and maybe not to, what's the word I want to use? maybe getting ahead of this by doing this interview because the House Ethics Committee is investigating Gonzalez over the claims that he engaged in sexual misconduct with a staffer and discriminated unfairly by dispensing special favors or privileges. So that's just an update. We don't have to get into all of that, but we're going quick. I know we've got to go quick. Finally, and after we come back from break, we're going to have a bunch of other stories like this that we just kind of have to move quickly on because I want to talk about the Walls hearing. I want to talk about the Nome hearing, but not too much in depth, just kind of the takeaways, and then because we've got to get into Iran. And as I said, we're going to hear from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. We're going to hear about St. Baldrick's coming up, and then in the next hour, we're going to hear from Mark Margison. But I want to end this segment on this note. An Arkansas man charged with murder has won the GOP primary in the sheriff's election. Now, you may say, wait a minute, what's going on here? There's a little more to it. You may have followed this story. We may have brought this story to you. I can't remember, way back when he first declared. But Aaron Spencer is charged with killing a man. That man is accused of sexually abusing Spencer's teenage daughter, which Spencer says inspired his run for office. So he's still awaiting trial on a murder charge after he was accused of killing his daughter's alleged abuser. He won the Republican nomination for sheriff of a county in Arkansas, according to the Arkansas Secretary of State's office. Aaron Spencer scored over 53% of the vote in the Republican primary, defeating, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley and another candidate. Spencer, who's an Army veteran and a farmer, first made headlines back in October of 2024 when he was charged with shooting and killing a 67-year-old man who had been charged with sexually abusing Spencer's 13-year-old daughter. Spencer's attorneys told NBC last year that his actions were justified under Arkansas law in taking action to protect his daughter and himself. He said, "I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. Through my own fight for justice, I've seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court, and I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. The campaign isn't about me, it's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their home and safe in their community." He'll face off against Democrat Brian Mitchell Sr. in November. All right, there's a bunch of quick stories. Keep those waves, keep those comments coming in. We're going to go through just a couple things here before we hear from Phil Palmisano. So stay with us. This is Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
Hi, this is Tom Witzel, owner of Hesselson's in Amara Heights. At Hesselson's, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hesselson's now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is a start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hesselson's is still locally and family-owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Allegiance from Elmira to Myrtle Beach starts May 22nd, 2026. Whether it's a weekend escape or a week in the sun, Myrtle Beach is closer than ever. Non-stop to sun, sand, and seaside days. From takeoff to toes in the sand, your coastal getaway starts right here at Elmira Corning Regional. Mornings on the boardwalk, afternoons on the golf course, and evenings with oceanfront dining or a flight away with Allegiant's new direct flight. Starts May 22nd, 2026. Book now at AllegiantAir.com.
For each life moment, your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. Your kids may be eligible now, even if you've applied before. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Get started now at insurekidsnow.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and
The potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s. Then we'll stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday.
Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. By the way, yesterday it was reported that the House committee is going to, or did subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Epstein files. That was breaking yesterday. Gallup, in their polling, we've been talking way too much polling lately, but government still leads as the nation's top problem. Government and political leadership remained America's top concern in February when asked to identify the most important problem facing this country today. Immigration emerged as the clear second choice, followed by the economy and then inflation. Just interesting. I just found that interesting. All right, the 5 wildest moments. When Walz had the fraud hearing, it was Walz and Ellison, the Attorney General, Minnesota Governor, former Vice Presidential candidate Tim Walz, and Attorney General Keith Ellison. They faced a barrage of tough questions from Republicans, kind of a what did you know, when did you know it scenario. Walz and Ellison were asked multiple times for specifics regarding when they were first made aware of fraud problems and faced sharp rebukes from Republican members, including Representative Virginia Fox. Fox saying, "You did not do your job. You did not do your job. You did not protect taxpayers' dollars. You allowed massive fraud. You and Mr. Ellison allowed massive fraud to go on in the state of Minnesota. It is unfortunate, as somebody said, that you can't be held personally responsible at this stage in the game." Jim Jordan, this was a big one. Jim Jordan asked, "Why didn't you tell the truth about why you restarted the payments?" The exchange centered on Walz's past public statements that a judge ordered the Minnesota Department of Education to continue reimbursements in April of 2021 after the agency had halted payments over fraud concerns. Jordan pointed to a 2022 court-authorized news release from the Ramsey County District Court Judge John H. Gutman that disputed the governor's characterization of the events, saying, "So either you're lying or the court's lying, and I'm asking you, which one is it?" That was a huge takeaway question that was making the rounds online. One of the most contentious exchanges came during questions from GOP Representative Nancy Mace when she pressed Walz for specific numbers on how many children are in his state, the massive increase in autism care spending, and why that occurred without getting specific numbers back from Walz. So she said, okay, so your excuse before that you didn't know what the 2017 autism numbers were because you were not governor, and today you can't answer the numbers about 2024 as governor, and you still said you prepared for this hearing today. It's unbelievable. Walz shot back, saying that he wouldn't be a prop for Mace. So if you can't answer the question, you don't want to be a prop for Mace. And she actually said, I expected you to know this information. Thank God you're not Vice President of the United States. GOP Representative Clay Higgins confronted Ellison in another heated moment, asking him to say he was leading the fight against rooting out corruption without getting the specific answer he was looking for, prompting him to call for Ellison's resignation. And that's becoming more prevalent. I know even, was it Thom Tillis who did that to Nome 2 days ago? But Higgins said, I'm not talking about Medicaid fraud. Don't hide behind that. You have the authority to prosecute anything criminally that the governor asks you to do. And this thing is big. I'm giving you your opportunity, sir. Are you leading the criminal investigation efforts into this massive fraud across the board or not? So when Ellison responded, we are following the law, Higgins said, you are not leading. I'm going to say, Mr. Chairman, that the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota should resign. Now here we go. At the close of the hearing, things became tense again when GOP Representative Nick Langworthy suggested that Walz, who is still serving as governor despite dropping out of his reelection bid due to the fraud scandal, should be impeached for malfeasance, citing Minnesota's own state constitution. So good on our congressman making the rounds in the news. Congressman Nick Langworthy suggesting that Walz should be impeached for malfeasance. Also, do you want to get into the Nome hearing? I mean, you had Democrats questioning if she was having a relationship, even though her husband was there to support her, if she was having a relationship with Corey Lewandowski. I don't know. Both Nome and Lewandowski have denied reports of the affair, but that did not stop Democrats from pouncing on it to the point where I think it got a little inappropriate. Kelminger Dove asked Nome point blank about the nature of the relationship. This person has no experience at running anything close to the Department of Homeland Security or even advising someone in your position, she said. He is unqualified, which has left my constituents and I wondering, why is he your top official? So Secretary Nome, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had a sexual relationship with Corey Lewandowski? Nome saying, Mr. Chair, I'm shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in the committee today. They tried to get her to say, and this is what I mean, it just got back and forth to get a yes or a no. Then they picked on her about, I guess, a story where allegedly, I thought this was debunked, but because it seems like she forgot something else, but that she was all upset and tried to fire a pilot because, she couldn't get back on the plane, or that they lost her blanket or something. I don't know. This was a weird one for me. It didn't seem to be of substance. It seemed to be a lot of attack on her personally. So I just found that kind of strange. Anyway, if you have any questions on that, or you want to talk about it, I'd be more than happy to. But it gets just into to her point, kind of the tabloid questions. We do have to take a break because when we return, we are going to hear from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, the ranking member on the Ways and Means Committee. They had a press conference yesterday. I know we talk so much about energy here. And I know for obvious reasons, people want to learn more and know more. And this is going to show you what the Republicans are doing in regards to lowering energy costs and strengthening New York's grid. So that's when we return. Stay with us. We will be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Ferrari Auto Team!
The best hockey rink?
Ask Google! The best jewelry store? Ask Google!
The best Ram dealer?
Ask Google! We did! Google reviews from customers rank Ferrario Ram in Elmira the highest Ram dealer in our area.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
Check out the new Rams with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty during Ram Truck Month.
Visit Ferrario in Elmira or at Ferrario.com.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Allegiance from Elmira to Myrtle Beach starts May 22nd, 2026. Whether it's a weekend escape or a week in the sun, Myrtle Beach is closer than ever. Non-stop to sun, sand, and seaside days. From takeoff to toes in the sand, your coastal getaway starts right here at Elmira Corning Regional. Mornings on the boardwalk, afternoons on the golf course, and evenings with oceanfront dining or a flight away with Allegiant's new direct flight. Starts May 22nd, 2026. Book now at AllegiantAir.com.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s, then will stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street. Let's go to some viewer comments. Mark writes in, hats off to Congressman Nick Langworthy for saying that Tim Walz should be impeached. And he should be impeached. He is crooked, meaning Tim Walz. I couldn't agree more. Boy, that looks worse and worse the more you learn, doesn't it? And the fact that he did not run for re-election tells you just how bad it's going to get. Comment from a different viewer. The best, most reliable way to lower the cost of living and energy costs in New York State is to vote out all Democrats. Thank you very much. So yesterday at the Capitol, Assembly Republicans joined with their colleagues in the Senate Minority Conference to hold a press conference highlighting the state's flawed energy policy and steep price New Yorkers will continue to pay without a dramatic course correction from Democrats. Here we go. Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, of course, a part of the ranking chair, the ranking minority member on the Assembly Ways and Means Committee. Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, who happens to be on the program tomorrow. Yes, a plug there. But the Assemblyman will be on the show tomorrow. So make sure you get your questions in. But let's hear from Phil a day early. What a treat. Here we go. Assemblyman Phil Palmisano.
Assemblyman Phil Palmisano with the Assembly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Leader Ort. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to all my colleagues. In 2019, we passed the CLCPA. Our conference were sounding the alarm then. We were ignored. We simply asked for a cost-benefit analysis, a technical and feasibility analysis. It was ignored. Not just us, members from the industry, stakeholders, multiple interviewers, 2 members of the Climate Action Council asked for cost-benefit analysis, ignored. The governor ignored it, the legislature ignored it. At budget hearings, questioning Doreen Harris, co-chair of the Climate Action Council, how much is this going to cost ratepayers? She couldn't answer the question. She said, we have to see what we're going to do before we know what it's going to cost. Probably back to Nancy Pelosi talking about a health care plan, saying we got to pass it before we find out what's in it. Governor Hochul has said the CLCPA was before her time, so she doesn't really take responsibility for it. Well, let's talk about some of the numbers. We know about the NYSERDA report. These aren't our numbers. These are proven numbers. Cost estimates of what the CLCPA is going to cost. More than $250 billion, upwards to $500 billion or more, according to the Empire Senate. July of 2023, Politico had an article, PSC approved $43 billion in future ratepayer increases to pay for the green energy mandates. Governor Hochul was in office then. Cap and Invest passed in a budget under Governor Hochul. Former DEC commissioner was out there saying if we pass that, it would increase gas prices at the pump by 62 cents a gallon and increase natural gas home heating costs by 80%. The All-Electric Buildings Act, the Builders Association said it would increase home ownership costs by almost $25,000. Of course, we all know the mother of all unfunded mandates, the EV school bus mandate, $8 to $15 billion in replacement costs before you get to the billions in charging infrastructure and in energy costs. And still to this day, I love the media asked the governor, why are we asking our school districts to convert their whole entire fleets in 2035, a full 5 years before the state of New York has to convert their medium and heavy-duty fleet? Why are we asking school districts and property taxpayers to be the guinea pig for this social experiment? How about the state of New York does it first, show it can be done feasibly and responsibly and affordable? They won't because it can't be done. You have the reports from 3 different places that said to convert your home over from natural gas to full electrification would cost anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. You have the EV mandate laws. You have the ACT regulation, the Advanced Clean Car 2 regulation that came in under Governor Hochul, which will devastate the trucking industry and the auto industry once fully implemented. The energy plan that was just advanced, that was talked about as all the above, in certain scenarios, to give me full electrification, would increase energy-related costs, transportation, heating, equipment, some more than $500 a month. Their numbers, not our numbers. The cost of residential electricity rate in 2019 was 17 cents a kilowatt hour. Today, it's over 25 cents a kilowatt hour, 50% higher than the national average. Governor Hochul and the Democrats in Albany own this. They can't talk about affordable energy when this is on their policy resume. And we haven't even gotten to the reliability concerns that have been brought up by the NYSO. I've listened to Governor Hochul and her spokesperson time again say we're for an all the above approach and want affordable and reliable energy. The policy resume doesn't match up to that. The policies don't match the words. She is quick to blame the utilities for the rate increases, but the Democrats are failed to recognize their green energy mandates, the march to full electrification, are driving up utility bills. And then last week, the memo, the leader talked about $4,000 for natural gas heating costs, $2.23 a gallon on top of current. Diesel, $2.41 a gallon on top of the current. Other parts of that memo, if you didn't see, for small and medium commercial-sized businesses, 46% increase in the utility costs, depending on the utility and size of the facility. And the other one, trucking delivery costs, increase of over 60%. What does that mean? Talk about affordable housing and affordable food. Higher grocery prices, higher home ownership. They own this. That's what's affordable. How often do they have to, what more do they have to hear? What more do they have to see to take action? It's more than long past due to pump the brakes on this because the ratepayers are at a breaking point. They want immediate relief right now. They don't want to subsidize EV purchases with their rates. They don't want to subsidize electric heat pumps. So our plans, we are very similar plans. We've talked about a direct rebate back to people, but certainly the $2.4 billion that the utilities that's in NYSERDA coffers that can provide direct immediate relief to ratepayers. This money's already been collected from the ratepayer already. So let's give that back to them in direct ratepayer relief rather than them having to subsidize someone's EV purchase or electric heat pump. The taxes, fees, assessments, and surcharges on our utility bill, that sometimes, in some cases, adds up to more than 20% of your utility bills. Let's immediately suspend that, rebate that, give them that relief right now because people need it. The white paper that NYSO came out said the same thing. The cost of the energy costs, declining generation and supply, and retirement, plant retirements, rising fuel costs and pipeline constraints, and of course, the growing demand for electrification without increasing our base load generation. On the reliability, the NYSO has said short and long-term reliability gaps. In 2040, you need 27 to 40 gigawatts of dispatchable emission-free resources. Our total generating capacity in New York is 41 gigawatts with wind, solar, hydro, natural gas, oil, and nuclear. Wind and solar does not count towards that because it's not dispatchable. So we don't know what the technology is. It's not there yet. We think nuclear, advanced nuclear, carbon capture, sequestration, renewable natural gas, but we're not there yet. So we need natural gas. People want natural gas. They want energy choice. There was a poll last summer. 71% of New Yorkers do not want a ban on natural gas, including 76% of independents. 2/3 of New Yorkers want a balance between renewable resources and natural gas, including 74% of Democrats. That same poll said 80% said their utility bills are too high. You don't need a poll to say that, but the fact of the matter is people want energy choice and they want natural gas. And all this is being done. 60% of New Yorkers heat their homes with natural gas. 40% of our generation comes from natural gas. We need to build more power online. We need natural gas, build new natural gas, repower existing natural gas. Now, natural gas has always been referred to as a bridge fuel, correct? You don't tear down a bridge before you build a new one, do you? But that's exactly what they're doing. Rest assured, our Senate and Assembly Republican Conference will continue to be outspoken about this, continue to hold the feet to the fire of the governor and the Democrats in Albany, but we will continue to advocate for a common sense energy agenda that prioritizes affordability, reliability, feasibility, fuel diversity, and energy choice because New York families and businesses deserve it.
And we thank you, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano, for sending that in and having that fiery press conference. Phil will be in on the program tomorrow, Fridays with Phil, so make sure you get your questions in. All right, we got to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Operation Epic Fury. You can weigh in on the Nome hearing or the Walls hearing. They do ask a question. I don't know if it's a question so much as, but Cubans are actually begging for the U.S. to finish the job there. When riots broke out recently at a prison in Cuba, the videos that circulated showed something remarkable. Inmates were shouting, "Long live Trump." Think about that for a moment. Cuban prisoners, men with little left to lose and every reason to resent American power, were cheering the U.S. president. That image tells you more about the state of U.S.-Cuba relations than a decade of think tank white papers. So do you think, it sounds, I know that there's a major blackout recently in Cuba, but are the people there hoping for an intervention by the U.S.? And I know we heard from a viewer yesterday who said we've got to kind of start picking and choosing a little bit now that we're involved in Iran. But let's take a short break. Keep your waves, keep your comments coming in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
I'm Grace. I'm Ida, and I lived in California. Timmy was just a puppy when I moved in. He's a emotional support animal. I had Missy, who is 15 years old and blind. Likes the people, he likes to greet all the people. All the employees are happy to see him. I feel that my pets are very welcome here. I feel very welcome here. I think it's great.
When a child is fighting a critical illness, one truth touches us all. Every child deserves a childhood. A wish sparks a ripple of hope that transforms communities far and wide. And when we grant wishes together, we create a movement of kindness, strength, and unity. Become a wishmaker today and be part of a journey that truly changes lives.
Dear Coach.
Dear Coach, they don't teach you that inner strength is the most important kind of strong. But you taught me that.
They don't teach you how to build confidence in yourself or how to deal with all the pressures all at once. But you taught me that.
First tee was more than golf. It's where I discovered what I'm capable of.
You didn't just prepare me for 18 holes. You were preparing me for every day of my life. Learn more at firsttee.org.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s, then will stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson's studio here on Market Street in Corning. So we're going to hear in just a few minutes from Amy Harpster. She's going to tell us about the upcoming events surrounding St. Baldrick's Day. There's not just the shave event that we're kind of used to seeing the pictures of. It also happens to be some other events surrounding it. So that will be coming up. I'm just looking at the time on that. We'll probably play that here in just a few minutes. Okay. Operation Epic Fury survives the Senate challenge. The Senate shot down a resolution from Senator Tim Kaine, another failed vice presidential candidate, aimed at limiting Trump's military actions in Iran, following days of speculation about whether Republicans would cross the aisle, as they have done before, to reprimand the president. Only Senator, who was it? You guessed it, Rand Paul, voted in favor of the resolution, while Senator John Fetterman was the lone Democrat to cross the aisle in support. The Democrats argue that Trump's actions were another instance of him disregarding Congress's authority to use military force. Quote, "It's time for the president to keep promises, not break them," Kaine said. "That's why I'm so glad we're going to put everybody on the record. Nobody gets to hide and give the president an easy pass or an end run around the Constitution." Now, it says here, Representative Rich McCormick, they're suggesting that, yes, he's still in charge of this, that they kind of hand him the wheel on Iran, but there is one red line or one kind of, one issue where they would have a major problem. And according to McCormick, "I would like to see congressional approval for boots on the ground." He added, however, that right now it's just an intervention, which is very similar to what Obama and Clinton and other presidents throughout my lifetime have done. So kind of what people are saying is, as long as they are asked about boots on the ground, the president is doing what he should be doing. I agree with the policy, said Representative Chip Roy. If at some point this extends beyond in terms of boots on the ground and budgetary need and scope, that starts to then demand our involvement. Then we'll look at it. Representative Nancy Mace also said if ground troops get involved, I think there's a very different conversation. That's not where we are today. Okay, so that was what one viewer had referenced earlier. But the 2 remaining soldiers of the 6 that were killed in the Iranian drone strike in Kuwait were identified yesterday by the Pentagon. Major Jeffrey R. O'Brien, 45, of Iowa, Indianola, Iowa, was confirmed dead, and Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert M. Marzin, 54, of Sacramento, California. So that is the news from the Pentagon yesterday. We also learned, according to Carolyn Levitt, that President Trump will attend the dignified transfer of the 6 U.S. service members who were killed in a drone attack in Kuwait, saying, quote, President Trump intends to attend the dignified transfer of these American heroes to stand in grief alongside their families. I understand the Department of War is working on scheduling the transfer, and we will provide updates at the appropriate time. They laid down their lives in defense of our country, and we will never forget their legacy or their sacrifice. As the President said, we grieve for these American patriots and their families as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. Yesterday, well, we better take a short break. Yeah, because let's see. Yeah, mathematically, we better take a short break because I want to hear from Amy Harpster. We're going to learn all about St. Baldrick's Day. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Tired of the cold weather? Sunny days are closer than you think. Get ready now for fun later with a boat, camper, or RV loan from Servview Credit Union at just 5.99% APR for up to 10 years. Adventure is waiting. Apply today.
Did you know we waste as much as 40% of all the food we produce globally? Did you also know that each year, millions of acres of wildlife habitat are plowed over, and billions of gallons of water is guzzled up to produce that food? And your wallet is taking a hit too. Americans toss out more than $382 billion worth of food per year. That's a lot of waste. But did you know that there are simple things you can do to help? And spread the word that food should never be trash. Visit us at wwf.earth/food waste.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s, then will stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday, followed.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and it's time to talk St. Baldrick's. Welcome back. Last time we were on, it was a big basketball game. I heard that was a huge success.
It was our third green out game. We raised over $3,000 that night.
Wow.
So yeah, big success.
So when you have a big fundraiser like that, does that money go towards the main shave event, or are these all separate type things?
Everything goes towards the main shave event. So all the events we have lead into like our big goal for the Corning area St. Baldrick's. Yes.
Oh, I got you. Okay, now I understand. And I got to move your mic because I had that a little bit off, but that's okay. We're doing so good. All right. So we have the big shave event coming up, but before that, you have only about a half a dozen other events.
Right. It seems like it.
Yes. So let's kick off with, it's first going to go happy hour.
Yes, this Friday, March 6th, we have a happy hour event at the office starting at 3:30. We've done this for several years now. It's a lot of fun. We have drink specials that they do. We've got kind of like St. Patrick's Day themed drink specials, getting ready. Hamburg Brewing usually comes and does they donate some of their products for us too. We have lots and lots of raffles this year as well. So, so many local businesses and have donated either items or gift certificates or whatever. So we'll have some of those both at the office and at our main event as well.
Well, and we're going to talk about the main event. We're going to talk about all of this. But when you mentioned the businesses getting involved, I was looking at the website. It's amazing how the community rallies around all of this.
Absolutely.
Whether it's, school-age kids all the way up to, like you said, business owners. It seems like everybody wants to be a part of it. It almost looks like it's a competition.
Right. Yeah, which is great. It makes our job easier to try to, reach our fundraising goal when we have so many people that are supporting.
Sure.
The organization.
And going back to the happy hour at the office at 3:30, so is that kind of an opportunity for everybody to get around and start getting themselves pumped up for the main event?
Absolutely, and it's just fun. We don't have anything really organized. Just come on out on a Friday afternoon, unwind after the week. And there is live music later on that night too, so you can hang around for that as well, and it's always a fun time.
A whole evening. And then if you said, okay, I had a great time, I want to see more of everybody involved, then you've got bingo.
We've got bingo.
Have you done this before?
This is the first time we've done bingo.
Okay.
So this is at Liquid Shoes next Wednesday. Okay. So that's March 11th, if I have my dates right. Yeah. Bingo at Liquid Shoes. And when you buy your card to play, that's going to St. Baldrick's.
Wow.
So
that's a really neat idea.
Yep.
Well, and again, you got Liquid Shoes, you got the office, you've got Carrie's Brew House. Everybody wants to get involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great.
And Liquid Shoes, we can almost see it in the background.
Yeah.
They're going to be excited. And so you can just it's just normal bingo.
Yeah. Just come on over.
Good idea.
Yep. And it's supporting us this time around. So, yeah.
All right, now let's talk about the big event, the Big Shave. That's coming up on the 14th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Carrie's Brew House. How's the planning going right now? Because you have so many other things
I know,
planning.
we do. We're kind of like uber focused on the happy hour right now. But yes, it's going really well. This will be, I believe, the 3rd or 4th year that we've been at Carrie's. Okay. So we're in their upstairs event room for the shave event. Free to come. Anyone can come and join and just enjoy. Again, we'll have a ton of raffles there as well. We'll have food specials, and their full menu and bar is available as well. Allie Payne is our MC again this year, which is a lot of fun. We have music and all kinds of stuff like that.
So to someone, you mentioned some of it right there, but to someone who's never been to one of these events, what's the atmosphere like? What can they expect?
It's really just like a big celebration. Just really being supportive of the people that have decided to shave their heads, which is kind of a big deal, especially the first time that you do it.
Sure.
So it's really just being supportive of those people that are in the chairs up front.
So I don't know if you can give away this top secret, but ballpark, how many people are going to get shaved?
So as of right now, when I checked this morning, we were at 51 people that are currently signed up to shave, and we usually get a few like last minute on the fence that they're like, oh, I think I do want to do this. So our goal has been to have at least 50 since pre-COVID, and this is the first year that we've hit that or surpassed it, actually. So we're super excited about that.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
So really the whole event from 1 to 4, people are just getting their hair shaved.
Yes. Yep. We have teams. We have school teams. We have, just friends or family that have teams that are doing it, just individuals. So we usually have the teams scheduled at certain times just because they have to make sure everybody's there. And I mean, with that many people, we're going to probably start right away at 1, and it should be pretty much the whole 3 hours of head shaving.
I've got to say, there's some clever names for some of these teams.
Yes.
People came up with some very clever names. Looking at the website, and we recommend you just like at the bottom of the screen, Corning area, St. Baldrick's. You'll find out all the information, how you can donate, and what is your goal, and where do you find yourself at right now?
So our goal is 50,000 for this year's event. I think on the website it's showing maybe 8 or 9, I'm not exactly sure, but we've also had the green out. We had the talent show at the high school. They gave us their donations for that as well, and just some other things that we've done on the side. I think we're around 20,000 right now, with our goal being 50. So.
Okay, and you still have the happy hour, you still have bingo, and the main event, of course. When you said it's tough to get your head shaved the first time, so you see a lot of repeat customers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's quite a few people that have done it for previous years.
Yeah.
And after you've done it 3 years, you're recognized by St. Baldrick's as a knight of a squire of hope. They have like these different levels of 3 years, and then it's like 3 years, 7 years, 10 years, and so on. So, and we have people in most of those categories, which is pretty amazing.
When we mention all these, and it's really year round that you're working on it, how long does the planning, like maybe I should ask, when does it begin for all of these events right around the same time?
We meet in early fall initially, and just kind of rehash, like, what do we want to do again? What do we want to try that's new? And just kind of start securing our dates for some of those bigger events, just to get them on the calendar. And then once we hit like probably the end of October, November, we're meeting almost weekly.
Wow.
Just our little committee, just to make sure that, we have everything organized and start the planning process.
Now, how long have you personally been involved with St. Baldrick's?
I've been involved, I think this is my ninth year being on the planning team. It's been a few years that I've been the volunteer event organizer with the Corning group that we have right now. So, but yeah, I've been involved for a while.
Yeah, I would say.
And there were a few years where we couldn't do it during COVID. There were 2 or 3 years where it just wasn't possible to do.
No. That's why when you think about it, I mean, I know it's been a while, but to really rebound with 50 plus people getting their hair shaved is very impressive, and not a very long period of time anyway. So then everybody gets their head shaved, and then they all meet to see if they made mistakes. No, I don't mean like that. But no, then they all meet, because then you have the event on March 15th.
We have another event on March 15th. Now, this is the first year for this. This is called Jigs and Swigs.
Okay.
This is going to be at the Iron Flamingo Barrel House on Market Street. This is a national organization, Jigs and Swigs. It's using Irish dance in like an aerobic setting.
Okay.
So there's 2 women from Buffalo that are coming down to teach the class. And then you get that's the jig part, and then the swig part is afterwards. You can have a celebratory beverage afterwards at Iron Flamingo. So that is, you have to pre-register for that. Okay. I think there's only 8 slots left, so we're almost sold out for that, being our first year, which is really awesome.
So I'm guessing that's coming back next year.
It's looking like it. Yes, it's looking like it.
And by the way this is going, you're going to be out of businesses to set up events out here.
I know, we're all over the place on Market Street.
But that's a really neat idea. I like it being the day after, because maybe to kind of blow off some steam, especially for people that were so involved throughout the whole year and raising money. How can people help? I'm sure it's not too late. Obviously, you can donate.
Yes.
Is there a way that people can help or maybe participate in future years, or even is it too late to start already?
I mean,
or, you know what I mean, to get involved.
You can certainly sign up to be a volunteer. And if you want to try to do that this year, we'll try to find something for you to do for sure. But it's certainly not too late. If you do decide that you want to shave your head, there's still a little over a week to raise some money. I had one of my students this morning was like, I decided I'm going to do it. So I got him signed up this morning for it. Wow. So there's still time to do that. But yes, as far as like donating, you can donate to a specific person, you can donate to a team, you can just donate to our Corning area, St. Baldrick's. But with that many people participating, chances are you're going to know somebody.
Of course.
That's involved in some way.
Yeah. When someone first signs up, is there individual goals that you create? How does that work?
Yes, when you register, it has you go through a questionnaire, and one of the things on there is what's your fundraising goal.
Okay.
Yes, so it tracks you individually and shows you, how far you've gotten in your goal. Yes.
Well, so many ways to wish you best of luck. First of all, best of luck with your goal. It sounds like, knock on wood, I think you're going to get there. Best of luck with the 4 events that you have coming up. So let's do just a quick recap, because we went through so many of them.
Absolutely.
So it starts at the happy hour.
Yes.
And that's at the office.
Yes.
That's coming up on Friday.
Friday, March 6th. Yes. 3:30. Yes.
The days are blending in for you, I'm sure. and then in the middle of the week, we've got bingo on Wednesday the 11th.
Correct.
And then we've got the big shave event on the 14th, 1 to 4 p.m. at Carrie's Brew House. And then, of course, the brand new edition. It's already a fan favorite.
Yes.
St. Baldrick's Jigs and Swig fundraiser event on Sunday, March 15th at...
That's at Iron Flamingo.
Iron Flamingo. I think I got them all.
Awesome.
All right. Well, best of luck. Thanks for coming on and let us know how it goes.
I will. Thank you so much.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
In the heart of nature, collisions happen when you least expect them. Deer hits can turn a tranquil drive into a chaotic moment. When the unexpected happens, turn to Scott's Collision. At Scott's Collision, we understand the frustration of unexpected encounters with wildlife. From dents to more extensive damage, we've got you covered. When nature and your vehicle collide, trust Scott's Collision to bring it back to life.
My mom is a veteran and she was injured in the line of duty.
I hurt my leg in a training accident when she was only 2 years old.
She had 7 different surgeries over the span of 9 years, and there were tons of complications.
I couldn't be the mom my kids needed me to be.
She missed so much.
After my last surgery, I got an infection so bad I thought it was going to kill me.
I told her she couldn't leave me yet. There was still so much she had to see. I hadn't even graduated.
I'm doing much better now. I'm an active part of my kids' lives.
She can kick a mean soccer ball.
DAV's been there for me and my family. Through thick and thin, they've had our back.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans like Sandy get the health and disability benefits they've earned so they can achieve victories great and small.
My victory is getting my life back. I may have lost my leg, but I've gained so much. I got my joy back.
We got our mom back, thanks to DAV.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio, getting ready to wrap up hour number 1. In the next hour, we're going to be talking with Mark Margison, who is currently in the process of getting signatures to be on the ballot for a Republican primary against incumbent Chris Moss. His opponent, Chris Moss, will be on the program next week. So we're already hitting the ground running with local election talk. So Chris Moss will be joining us next week. Mark Margison coming up in the next hour. Okay, let's go to some comments from viewers because we don't have a lot of time left in this hour. What's happening on the Save America Act? Are the hearings a distraction? Well, that's a great question. Yes, the hearings are a distraction in many ways. I know President Trump is still talking about the SAVE Act. I received a press release about it yesterday showing polling number that shows overwhelmingly the American people support the SAVE Act. So I think hopefully behind the scenes there's still work being done on this. It's a small, precious window where they need to get this done for the American people. So I'm with you. I think the hearings are a distraction overall for many things. But yes, that's kind of where we're at. All right, Mark writes in, as far as Iran, we are in talks with the Kurds to do the boots on the ground for us. That's very true. Ronnie Ray said why Kurds could be the biggest threat to the mullahs as fighters launch ground offensive against Iran. The Kurdish forces are operating along the Iran-Iraq border where its major militias are based with the goal of applying pressure to Iran's scrambling security forces, according to the Jerusalem Post. The ground offensive seeks to divert Iran's military and security resources, which would open the way for an uprising inside the country, according to a source, again, telling the Jerusalem Post. It remains unclear whether the well-trained Kurdish militias in the self-governed region of Iraqi Kurdistan will get involved. Some U.S. intel reports suggest that Iraqi Kurds were also involved in the operation, though Aziz Ahmed, a top official in the Kurdish region of Iraq, denied Kurdish fighters had crossed the border into Iran. So that's where we're at. Thank you for that, Mark. I appreciate that. All right. Again, thank you to Amy Harpster for being on the program. St. Baldrick's, an amazing cause, and people are working hard to reach that goal of 50,000. So I hope that you can be supportive in any way you can, whether it's to volunteer, whether it is to get your head shaved if you want to go down that route. Also, since we're housekeeping, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano will be our guest tomorrow. I've already received some questions from you. Keep them coming in. We'll ask Phil tomorrow on Fridays with Phil. All right, hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2, moments away. Stay with us. This is, Frankly Speaking, here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. We will be right back. I can't wait.
Nearly 500 kilos of cocaine
cocaine has been seized in a bust.
Thousands lined the pier at Seneca Harbor. Race weekend brought thousands to Watkins Glen International.
Hundreds and horseheads joined other cities around the country on Saturday for the No Kings protest.
Allegiant's flight from Elmira to Myrtle Beach starts May 22nd, 2026. Whether it's a weekend escape or a week in the sun, Myrtle Beach is closer than ever. Non-stop to sun, sand, and seaside days. From takeoff to toes in the sand, your coastal getaway starts right here at Elmira Corning Regional. Mornings on the boardwalk, afternoons on the golf course, and evenings with oceanfront dining or a flight away with Allegiant's new direct flight. Starts May 22nd, 2026. Book now at AllegiantAir.com.
This year, WYDC is bringing you 25 New York Mets games free over the air this spring and summer. No fees and no subscription services. Tune into WJKP 48.2 to watch the New York Mets this MLB season. Let's go Mets!
There have always been a few ready to fight and win. Since 1775, these few have been Marines, and they come from across this land to defend the future of our nation. This year, our Corps celebrates 250 years, and Marines are proud to serve this country, each other, and all that is still to come for America.
And we welcome you to hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live and proudly from the Hesselson's studio here on Market Street in Corning. We have a very busy hour. If you are just joining us, here's what you've missed. Assemblyman Phil Palmisano in that clip from yesterday's press conference. We heard from Amy Harpster from St. Baldrick's. And coming up in about 10, 15 minutes, probably about 15 minutes, we're going to hear from Mark Margison. Okay. Talking about Iran, yesterday the White House outlined the administration's goals with Operation Epic Fury. It was Carolyn Leavitt giving the 4 objectives. 1, at the beginning of Operation Epic Fury, launched last week, President Trump laid out clear objectives to the American people on what the U.S. military seeks to accomplish through these major combat operations. Number 1, destroy the regime's deadly ballistic missiles and completely raze their missile industry to the ground. Number 2, annihilate the Iran regime's navy, and so far we have destroyed more than 20 Iranian ships, including their top submarine last night, using a torpedo for the first time since World War II. There is not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or the Gulf of Oman. Number 3, Operation Epic Fury will ensure the regime's terrorist proxies in the region can no longer destabilize the region or the free world and attack our armed forces. And thus far, Iran's proxies are hardly putting up a fight. And number 4, this mission will guarantee that Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. It's safe to say that thus far, Operation Epic Fury has been a resounding success. Now, Iranian bombers, as being reported, came within 2 minutes of striking the largest U.S. base in the Middle East before Qatari Air Force shot the aircraft down. The Iranian planes dropped to an altitude of around 80 feet in a bid to avoid detection before Qatar responded by deploying its fleet. Qatari fighters, for the first time, have shot down 2 Iranian bombers en route to their location, said the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Kane. Stealth bombers. Oh, here's a major update from yesterday, or from the last week. American stealth bombers are expected to land at a United Kingdom military base within days to join the U.S.-Israeli campaign against Iran. Citing unnamed senior Western officials, the Telegraph reported yesterday that air bases at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean and RAF Fairford in Gloucestershire are being readied for the arrival of B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. The $2 billion strategic bomber is also known as the world's most expensive aircraft, I would hope. The bombers are understood to be landing in the UK bases in a matter of days. Now, we know there was that the UK didn't want to get involved, didn't want us to use their landing bases. But after, the way I understand it, after there was an attack on an installation in Cyprus, which is a part of the UK, or a key British military base on the island. It was struck by a suspected drone on March 2nd, causing minor damage. So now the UK has decided, allegedly, according to sources, to allow us to use those bases. Now, according to the Islamic Republic's foreign minister, the U.S. will, quote, bitterly regret the precedent it has set after the American submarine torpedoed an Iranian warship. Quote, the U.S. has perpetrated an atrocity at sea, 2,000 miles away from Iran's shores. A guest of India's Navy carrying almost 130 sailors was struck in international waters without warning. Mark my words, the U.S. will come to bitterly regret precedent it has set. Now, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said that the ship, though it was safe in international waters before it was struck by a Mark 48 torpedo, which cost an estimated $4.2 million. The Iran's Grand Ayatollah issued a fatwa against U.S. Where's this coming out of? Charlie Jones writes it. A jihad has been called against the U.S. and Israel by one of Iran's Grand Ayatollahs as the war in the Middle East escalates. It comes after two high-ranking religious leaders in Iran, I don't want to go through all the names, issued their own fatwas urging Muslims globally to seek revenge for the killing of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. Okay. Now, Iran has denied that they are firing missiles towards Turkey. The ballistic missile was shot down by NATO forces before it reached Turkish territory. Turkey's defense ministry said the missile was detected to have been launched from Iran. A statement published by Iran's state news broadcaster said, quote, the armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran respect the sovereignty of the neighboring and friendly country Turkey and deny any missile launch toward the country's territory. Hegseth said the U.S. is winning decisively as Iran's military power evaporates. This was at a Pentagon press briefing yesterday. We are only 4 days into this, describing the early results as incredible. Hegseth said the United States is quickly moving towards full dominance of Iranian airspace, predicting that American allied forces will soon control what he described as uncontested airspace. Wow. According to the War Secretary, that control would enable continuous strikes against Iran's missile forces, defense industry, and leadership structure all day and all night, he said. He also described a future operational environment in which Iranian leaders would see only American and Israeli aircraft overhead every minute of every day until we decide it's over. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight. I like that. The War Secretary said the current campaign has already delivered twice the air power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003. Now, on the other side of the coin, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who we've mentioned numerous times, we still can't figure. Well, we figured it out. What am I saying? She liked the attention she was receiving as a loud MAGA supporter, saying some pretty outlandish things way back, getting a lot of kind of hate from the media, but getting support from Republicans. Now, it is alleged that she wanted to run for governor or senator or something like that, and Trump told her not to. This is alleged. And that's when she went scorched earth. And now, after going scorched earth against Trump, she really loves the attention she gets on places like The View, right? She was on The View. She loves the attention the media is giving her because she is bashing Republicans and specifically Trump to kind of make a name for herself, keep her relevant, keep her in the news. She said that President Trump is going back on what he promised after he launched Operation Epic Fury on Iran. She added that the current political climate is not what we voted for. This is absolutely America last. It's the same, we'll say, baloney we've seen for decades now. I know Trump very well. He repeatedly says that he is going to run for president again. I don't think he's joking. I really want to know what his mental state is and who he is doing this for. Because it's not for the American people. He's lying. He's gone back on what he promised. No more foreign wars. No more regime changes. It's absolutely America last. Now, when she says, and I don't know if she realizes if this was intentional or just she likes being used by the media so much that she's kind of knee-jerking by saying, I want to know what his mental state is, because that is the headline, questioning, and maybe she wants this, questioning his mental state, which the media has been running with excessively and extensively for quite some time. Now, on the other side of that coin, Senator John Fetterman, he was on News Nation's Cuomo show yesterday. He said, that's another truth about the Democratic Party. We're becoming more and more anti-Israel. Governor Newsom announced now he just described Israel as an apartheid state. That's a talking point of the fringe of my party. And that's been profoundly disappointing. I was shocked overall. He might be more liberal, but I never thought he would actually go that way and would describe our strong, special ally and the only nation in that region that lives the kind of values that they live like in California. Hey, I've been in Israel. Tel Aviv is like the San Diego version of Israel. And now you just describe that as an apartheid state? That's a betrayal of the moral clarity. He later added that Democrats, quote, increasingly more not allowed to be very proud to support Israel. But it's okay if you have a Nazi tattoo on your chest. And that, I think it was in reference to one of the candidates in the Democrat Party. But isn't that interesting? Fetterman, who voted to let Trump continue in Iran, reaching across the aisle. Of course, the media won't regard it as reaching across the aisle. They're not as supportive of it when it's a Democrat doing it. But I'll continue with what he had to say because I thought they were such good points on this. And speaking of what he said about Newsom, there's a piece of the New York Post editorial board that said Gavin Newsom is betting on anti-Semitism being the Democrat Party's future. And that sounds very much like what Fetterman said. But Fetterman said that the mindset of the Democrat Party, quote, has been absolutely wrong ever since the October 7th terrorist attack. Let me give you the full quote. He said the Democratic mindset has been absolutely wrong since October 7th. They have called for a ceasefire again and again and again throughout 2024 and to pander to the fringe. If they would have forced Israel into a ceasefire, Hamas would still be functional. Hezbollah would still be a force capability. And Iran probably could have even acquired a nuclear weapon by now. Can't we just get tired of, are we tired of being wrong consistently on that region? He also stated that people in the party don't want to be seen as agreeing with President Trump. Yeah, well, look at as soon as he came out and showed any kind of support for Trump or for Israel, the long knives came out after him. Then the questions of his mental health came out. Now, we got to take a short break. When we come back, we'll read some of your comments. We got a couple other things. We don't have a lot of time to talk before we talk with Mark Margison. So stay with us. A few more Iran updates. I want to hear your opinion. That's the most important thing. We will be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
Don't have time to go to the gym? The health club is not an option? Come to Hesselson today and see why swim spas and fitness systems can fit into anyone's yard and budget. 12-foot, 14-foot, 15-foot, 18-foot dual temperature hot tubs and swim spas are all on display in Hesselson's indoor and outdoor showroom. Try before you buy. 0% interest-free financing options are available on every Hesselson swim spa. Swim and exercise year-round and start making every day better. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
The best hot cocoa?
Ask Google. The best ski resort? Ask Google.
The best Jeep dealer?
Ask Google. We did. Google reviews from customers rank Ferrario Jeep in Elmira the highest Jeep dealer in our area.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
Check out the new Jeeps during our President's Day sales event.
Visit Ferrario in Elmira or at Ferrario.com.
Can you help me?
Mom, Dad, we're going out.
Thank you.
Oh, look, they're playing chess.
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
She's real sick, huh? Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
You heard him, organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.gov.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam on this rainy morning. Brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. By the way, yesterday was a beautiful day to go out and get your petitions signed. If you're out there getting petitions, we might have a couple good days coming up. Comment from Mark. He says, President Trump was asked on a scale of 1 to 10 how he would rate the conflict in Iran. He answered a 15. Okay, I didn't see that. Thank you, Mark. Now, former Secretary of State, I worded that quite strange, Condoleezza Rice has urged Trump's administration to, quote, take care of Iran for good and render them incapable. This was on, where was she speaking at? Condoleezza Rice said Iran has been at war with us for at least 47 years. Oh, she was on Fox News Special Report. If you ask people about Iraq, what was the source of many of our casualties in Iraq? You'll get estimates as high as 75 or 80% of them were due to Iranian-made roadside bombs. Rice argued the main objective of the attacks was to immobilize the tyrannical Iranian regime before it could launch back. Interesting, because we know that many in the George W. Bush administration, not always supportive of and that's putting it lightly, the supportive of the decisions of the Trump administration. But she said, if you can render Iran essentially incapable of military action against us and against our allies, that's worthy. And I think what they're trying to do is to neuter Iran as a military power in the region. They also have developed the military capabilities to reach outside the boundaries of Iran when speaking about Iran, including Hezbollah and Hamas, which they both arm and equip. To say that this regime was not a threat, it's ahistorical. They have been a threat for a long time. I myself negotiated 4 Security Council resolutions calling them a threat to international peace and security because of their nuclear ambitions. All right. Carolyn Levitt, I don't know if you saw this. Oh, yeah, I got to take a break because we're going to talk with Mark Margison here in just a moment. But White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt gave a fiery defense of Pete Hegseth when asked about his remarks suggesting news outlets were using 6 U.S. military deaths in the Iran war to make Trump look bad. Caitlin Collins said, is it the position of this administration that the press should not prominently cover the deaths of U.S. service members? Levitt said, no, it's the position of this administration that the press in this room and the press across the country should accurately report on the success of Operation Epic Fury and the damage it's doing to the rogue Iranian regime that has threatened the lives of every single American in this room. If the Iranian regime had their choice, they would kill every single person in this room. And so we can all be very grateful that we have an administration, that we have men and women in our armed forces who are willing to sacrifice their own lives for the rest of us in this room and for every American across the country. I love the way she put that, showing that these heroes are supporting and giving the ultimate sacrifice for the exact people in that room that Iran wants dead. So Collins couldn't let it go, saying, but Secretary Pete Hegseth was complaining that it was front page news about these 6 service members who were killed. That's when Levitt got mad. That's not what the secretary said, Caitlin. And that's not what the secretary meant. And you know it. You know you're being disingenuous. You never had a Secretary of Defense who cares more. All right. We got to take a break because coming up, we got Mark Margison. Remember, tomorrow on the program, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. Next week, we'll be hearing about the upcoming performance at the Clemens Center, the Book of Mormon. That will be on Monday. Then on, I believe it's Thursday. I should have been better prepared. Thursday, we will have Chemung County Executive Chris Moss. So we have a very busy couple of weeks. And I have others that I'm just forgetting because I didn't have my calendar in front of me. But stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here at WYDC TV. Big Fox.
At Quickfill, what matters most is that our customers, our communities, and our heroes are taken care of. We start by providing American-made gasoline, which means you can buy local, keeping America and your communities strong. We also support vital charities every year and hold Operation Give Thanks each November to help provide a better future for our veterans and their families. We're proud to support the communities we live and work in, and we're doing our best every day to make our towns a better place. Quickfill, driving America.
Month after month, year after year, even decades you've paid into the insurance system. You've done your part. But when you're seriously injured in a car accident or another tragedy, that system turns its back. Insurance companies care more about pumping up profits and stock prices than paying for your medical bills, your lost wages, or your recovery. At WDC Injury Law, we fight to make them pay what's fair. If you've been hurt in New York or Pennsylvania, call 607-500-HURT. Don't let the insurance companies win.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio this morning, Mark Margison. Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
It's good to be back now. I think we've all heard your announcement a few months ago now. How's the petition process going?
Petition process has been interesting. We've been out since the 24th. We've actually made some significant headway.
Great.
The neat thing is that we have a relationship. The person that's doing my social media, she attends the University of Albany, and she brought in 6 students this past weekend that went out and did petitions with us. It was exciting. They had a blast. They're part of the Kirk group organization.
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, they're part of that organization.
Wow. So you have a
Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
They're part of that group, and we brought them in, took care of them, and they worked with us for Saturday and Sunday. They went out and got a significant amount of. They went door to door, and they had a blast, and it was fun because, they're young folks, and my goal and our goal of our group is to get young people back into politics.
Sure. And petition, we talk about this too much on the program, but petition process is a long slog. And for people, if they can love that, they're going to love politics.
Correct.
But if people are I should have started with this. You are running for Chemung County Executive, and the petition process, you need 1,000 signatures, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Our goal is obviously to get more than 1,000.
Yeah.
That's our goal. Because I'm sure, some of them will be challenged, because you have people out there that are not quite sure exactly how things work all the time. You have non-committee people and committee people. But yeah, we're on track. We're excited about where we're at, and it's going to be fun.
Now, you're a busy man, chair of the legislature, the IDA. Why did you decide to run for Chemung County Executive?
Well, interesting. I've been a small businessman my whole life. I've been in the insurance business for 40 years. I was asked to get involved, strangely enough, by a group of guys that were involved in the political process back about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I really wasn't sure if I wanted to get involved, but as a business person, this community needs business, and my goal is to generate business opportunities. I got involved in this. I don't have all the answers. I don't portray to have all the answers, but I feel confident enough with my business background to put a group of people together that can move the community forward. Because if we don't, we're starting to go backwards, and that's the concern I have.
Well, when you're out taking the petitions out, and I'm sure you're talking to people on the street, you've been campaigning right from day one, what do you find is the biggest issues that you're confronted with by potential voters?
Well, strangely enough, taxes, and number one. Number two, in our community, is the sewer project, which is not done, which is supposedly on target, but extremely expensive. Required, but extremely expensive. I'm concerned of how over budget that it is. and that's a concern. We're also, in my particular position because of the arena, the other question was, how much tax money did you spend on the arena?
Right.
And because that's what's been put out in the community. And we didn't spend any tax money, so jobs, those are key. The homeless has been discussed.
Yeah.
So there's 5 or 6 different issues that have been brought up at the doorstep, not only with me, but also with the folks that are walking door to door.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting the questions too.
Yeah.
The county just took over the old bank building. The question we had this past week was, how much money is the county spending on remodeling the bank building?
Right.
And some of that information we don't necessarily get in a timely manner. This past week we asked the treasurer for that information, and it was kind of slow rolled, and we finally did get information, I think, yesterday. So there's a lot of money being spent on that building, and the concern was it was taken off the tax rolls from the city, so people are concerned about that.
Now, and maybe this is a better question I should start with in the future, but what do you see as the role and responsibilities of the executive?
Okay, I look at the executive as a team leader, okay? As a team leader, your goal, your job is to bring people in the community together from all areas of the community. Business, finance, DSS folks,
Sure.
all throughout the community, and even just constituents that have the background information that can help move the community forward and create a comprehensive plan. And with a comprehensive plan, you have a track to run on. And the concern I have right now, I don't really see a track that we are running on. We have a lot of different good things going on, but they're not cohesively working as a team. And so I've always felt that you need a track to run on. Let me just give you an example.
Sure.
When I ran originally 7 years ago, I said 4 things that I wanted to accomplish. And I planned my 7 years on that. Number 1, get the arena back in functioning, transfer ownership to a independent party. That was number 1. Number 2, term limits. Term limits. The only way term limits could have been approved is it has to go through the chairman, of which the past chairman wouldn't allow. I allowed it to go through. The legislature talked about it, and the legislature approved term limits, okay? Number 3, incubator projects. Corning had a tremendous incubator program, okay? So I promoted the incubator program to the legislature back 3 years ago. And with ARP funds, we were able to provide funding for them to get started in a program in Elmira, which had never been done before. So to this day, as of now, there's been 40 brand new businesses built between 2 and 5 person businesses. Those are 3 things that I said I wanted to do, okay? So it was the arena, 17 Aviation Drive is the last one.
Okay.
I wanted to bring that back. I've been in the aviation business for 25 years, okay? Our company insures aircraft all over the country, okay? So my goal was to take that facility and bring an aviation company into that facility and buy the facility. As of right now, Frank, I have an option in my hand for a purchase offer by a company that owns 5 aircraft. That opportunity will put that building back on the tax rolls. It'll generate over $2 million in revenue to the IDA. It will provide a land lease to the airport/county. And the balance of the maintenance monies that Sikorsky left on that building will go back to the county. This is approximately a $4 to $5 million deal that is in the planning stages right now. We're waiting on one item, and that one item is to get the land lease put together.
Okay.
Has to be done by the county.
Okay.
The IDA owns the building. The county's responsible for the land lease, and right now the land lease isn't done.
So, and you mentioned the IDA, and you mentioned you're chair of the Chemung County Legislature. How do you think that best prepares you for the job as an executive?
Okay. So the 4 things I mentioned I would accomplish in my 7 years, we've accomplished. That was because I put a track together and ran on that. When I was brought on by the county, the legislature, as the chairman, in our charter it says the chairman of the IDA of the legislature becomes chairman of the IDA and picks the IDA board. Okay, that didn't happen prior to my coming on board. The last time, the county executive appointed who he wanted as the chairman, which doesn't follow charter. Okay. Now, as the chairman of the IDA, I'm involved in all the business ideas that come to the community. Okay. So I've been able to follow all those projects, follow all those things, put those things together, work with the executive, Joe Roman. So during those last 3 years, that's what I've been involved in. I've been involved in the business development of the community, which generates additional property tax revenue and sales tax revenue, which is the 2 ways the county generates income. Without those 2 things, and I don't mean raise taxes, I mean generate more tax with business development, buying and leasing buildings, and then sales tax revenue.
When you first announced that you were running for Chemung County Executive, and to today, what has the reaction been?
Well, the only reason I decided to run is that I was asked by a number of people in this community to stick my neck out and jump on board because they've watched some of the things that I've done. And I've said all along, it's not about me as an individual. It's about an individual that can put together a team of leaders in the community, encompassing everyone, that can put a plan together. So the challenge was, I'm not a big politician. I have to go out and raise money. I have to go door to door. I have to do all these things that I normally do not do. But because so many business owners, financial people asked me to do this, I said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Because it gives the community options. Okay? It gives communities options. And the other thing, too, quite honestly, is the current county executive said, I'm only going to run 2 years. If I cannot accomplish what I want in 2 years, I shouldn't be there. So having that knowledge, I felt, okay, to keep a coordination of activity, I would jump on board and stick my neck out. And then, lo and behold, county executive announced that he was going to run again for a 3rd term.
Since I have you here, we have to ask, what do you see as the future of the event center? Where do you see that headed?
Okay, I think Stemmerman Sports is in a very good position. Now, it is a financial struggle on occasion.
Sure.
But the way that the facility was set up after, prior to being transferred, we put everything back in play, and we created flexibility for the facility by putting the turf area in and making it not necessarily totally hockey, but it gave flexibility to a lot of different types of programs. And I felt that creating a community center would be better for the community rather than just hockey. And that's the way we put everything together. I mean, Bobby Kay worked a lot with me. I mean, he tremendous marketing person. Mike Mack did a lot of work in the facility. He'd been involved in it 20 years. And what we ended up doing is that facility was destroyed back in 22. Okay, it was destroyed. We had Hunt engineers come in. They did a review on the building, and they indicated it'd take about $8 million to fix it. The difference of what the IDA did and what has been done in the past is the IDA created a plan to accept all the money for all the programming. The difference is they used to go to hockey, and hockey would then control their expenses, but never put a penny into the building. So what we did is we brought money into the house, then we maintained the building, created programming, and allowed a lot of flexibility. And we built up a good, strong, we brought it back. And I spent a lot of money. And I'll say me because my name has been thrown out there, okay? I've accepted the responsibility. I said in the beginning we're going to spend money, okay? So I said we'll spend probably 1.5, 1.6 million, okay? Now, what you have to understand, what has been brought out is that I spent $4 million, okay? And I used a lot of tax money. 100% false. We spent money that the IDA generated on projects coming into this community. It was not tax money, okay? That's number one. Number two, the other thing that has been brought out is the ice plant was hit by either lightning or some part of a charge of some sort, and basically was ruined.
Yeah.
So I, with the knowledge of insurance, was able to get a claim taken care of, and we received $900,000 in a claim that no one believed we would get. So yeah, I spent a lot of money, but I got $900,000 back from the insurance carrier. In fact, the agent that wrote the account was surprised that we were able to orchestrate that, but it was facts, okay? So that's number two. Number three, the legislature allowed us to have ARP funds for $500,000, okay? The ARP funds have not been totally spent,
okay,
because of the purchasing process the IDA had to follow. Now, what happened was, because the history of the arena caused issues in purchasing, many companies that we would deal with in the arena area would not provide us with quotes, would not talk to us. So what we had to do is we would get at least one quote, if not two quotes, and then we would have to contact another company. If they said, no, we're not going to deal with you, we would have to write their name down and everything. So the current regime wouldn't allow us to spend the money. And there's still money sitting there, which is unfortunate. Okay, so.
Now, before we go with going back and kind of shifting gears back to the race for Sherman County Executive, you don't have a year ahead. You have the primaries, correct?
I have a primary in June.
So what does now until June look like?
It's going to be a challenge. I mean, I'm running on, my name isn't out there like the current executive. He's been in this arena for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. So I'm running against the name. And that's one of the downfalls of my situation. So I have to get the name out there. I mean, I have to present what I've accomplished. And what I'm trying to do is implore that there's things that I've done. There's things that I've accomplished with the legislature and with the IDA board. Again, it's not about me personally. It's about all of us, what we've accomplished together. We've been able to provide funding with ARP funds to a lot of not-for-profits. We have an FQHC that we brought into the community, which we fought 3 years to get, and we've got that into play. We've got the incubator works, which wasn't something that the current executive wanted. So we've tried to utilize ARP funds to bring the community forward and help not-for-profits and some of these organizations move on, because the only way we're going to get people to stay here, young people to come here, is we've got to expand our opportunities. We got to give them we got to have a place to live that's comfortable, that's fun, that's enjoyable, that's active, and that's moving forward. I mean, our population is 50% of what it was in 70s.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And there's 10 to 15 people leaving a day? It's frustrating, but so we need to turn the corner and come up with a plan that makes sense for this community, where we're at now, but where do we want to be? And there isn't such plan in place.
All right, before we go, the tough question, how do people get involved? How do they help your campaign?
Well, we have our website,
on the bottom of the screen there.
which is which you're going to promote. And the goal is we're fighting to keep this community alive. I've asked people on social media to get together with us. I've got a lot of people out there that are committee members and non-committee members. We're looking for, this is not a cheap operation. It's very expensive. We've had some challenges with that because, the current regime is encouraging people not to support us, and I understand it. There's a lot of challenges on board here, and that's what it's like I'm I'm running against an individual. I'm challenging an infrastructure that's been built over all these years, and it's very difficult. But I do believe that I have the ability to bring a group of people together and move the community forward. And it's going to be a challenge, and there's no doubt. And I don't take anything for granted.
Sure.
But I'm going to give it my all and see what happens.
Well, great, Mark. Thanks for giving us so much time this morning. I'm sure we'll talk before June.
I'm sure we will.
All right.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Acts happen. If you're looking for an honest, dependable, trustworthy auto repair shop, bring it to Nappy's. Or if it's undrivable, have it towed right to us. It's your choice where to take your vehicle. Nappy's works with all insurance companies and will manage all vehicle calibrations. Nappy's has a state-of-the-art paint booth and a new and improved repair shop. Let our friendly staff of specialists help you through the process and get it done right the first time. Commit to Nappy's, family-owned for 3 generations.
Thank you for your business.
Allegiance from Elmira to Myrtle Beach starts May 22nd, 2026. Whether it's a weekend escape or a week in the sun, Myrtle Beach is closer than ever. Non-stop to sun, sand, and seaside days. From takeoff to toes in the sand, your coastal getaway starts right here at Elmira Corning Regional. Mornings on the boardwalk, afternoons on the golf course, and evenings with oceanfront dining or a flight away with Allegiant's new direct flight. Starts May 22nd, 2026. Book now at AllegiantAir.com.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s, then we'll stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. We want to thank Mark Margison for being on the program this morning. Let's go to some viewer comments. Who was the nutty protester, misread that got removed from Noam's hearing? What is her affiliation? I'm not sure. I mean, you've got to remember, if they're in that hearing, someone knew they were going to cause a scene. You and I don't just walk in off the street and say, oh, I think I'll sit in at this hearing for a while. So I know that one of the protesters, because it happened throughout Noam's, if I'm not mistaken, Noam's hearing, one claimed that she had worked for FEMA. I'm not really sure. But affiliation, I mean, would just probably one of the Democrats on the hearing that was one of their guests and knew exactly what was going to happen. All right, Rick writes in. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Rick. I think Donald forgot to get all the Americans out of harm's way in the Middle East before starting to rain down on Iran. Details. I think old Iran had a little more for the region than Trump and his supporters, Trumpettes, first anticipated. Senate fails to rein in Trump's Iran war powers. I call them a bunch of cowards. If you want to go to war, fine. Iran had it coming, but follow the proper protocol. Let the proper authorities weigh in and approve or disapprove an act of war. But draw a line in the sand, will you? Show the boss whose boss, a real boss, would send you home for not doing your job. Guess that about covers it. There's a great point by a British-Iranian actress, and I'm going to try here. Nazanin Banati. She called out progressive activists for their lack of outrage over Iran regime's human rights violations. We've talked about this recently quite a bit, but the idea when we saw so many protests in the street against Israel, these kind of anti-Semitic protests, and not seeing the protests calling for the end of the Iranian regime. The Rings of Power actress appeared in all places, surprisingly. CNN's The Lead with Jake Tapper. She agreed with concerns that an ISIS-level threat could take over the country, but noted that several human rights activists and organizations did not acknowledge civilian deaths until after the U.S. targeted Iran. Quote, for people who care about international law as I do, I'm getting plenty of messages from colleagues in entertainment saying, I'm so sorry in this moment. What's happening to your people? Thank you. But where were you a few weeks ago when tens of thousands of Iranians were being killed by their own regime? This is a regime that has been violating international laws for decades. I mean, so Jake Tapper said, I mean, if any other country did that, I think there'd be a huge cry and huge marches in the streets. Iran does it, and there really isn't that result anybody in the progressive community doing this. What do you make of that? Which is a fair question from Jake Tapper. Where is a progressive community when it comes to Iran? She said, look, in 1979, progressives world over, including in Iran, were all too willing to sacrifice women's rights, LGBTQ rights, and every other basic human right at the altar of anti-imperialism. Are we going to do the same in this moment? Are we really caring more about those whose hands are on the trigger, or are we going to care more about human lives, civilian lives? This is a regime that has violated human rights. International law has wreaked havoc on the region. Domestic oppression, transnational repression, hostage diplomacy, destabilizing the region, and now it's killing fellow Muslims in neighboring countries. Where is your outrage? Where are the college campuses? What a great point. An Iranian-American activist who has survived several assassination attempts blasted Kamala Harris after the former vice president criticized Trump over the strikes on Iran. Mashi Alinejad said, who are you, when talking about Kamala Harris? I'm tired of seeing some politicians here in America, especially Democrats, making this about their own politics, scoring political points like Kamala Harris. Suddenly, she kept quiet about the massacre. Suddenly, she found the voice condemning the targeted military strikes against the killers. So when ordinary people get massacred, you don't have any problem? Wow. Tough words, strong words, I should say, coming out from many over this. We've got a few other things that we have to mention. Oh, I want to go to New York State issues. I know we're running short on time because we've had so many great guests this morning, and we do appreciate that. Don't forget, tomorrow on the program, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano will be joining us. He'll be right in the 7 o'clock hour. It's Fridays with Phil, so get your questions in for the Assemblyman. We got to take a short break. Keep your comments, keep your waves coming in, and we'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, stay with us.
To the me I used to be, before talking to 988.
I felt alone.
I thought seeing hard things was just part of the job. I thought that having a bad day at work meant I was failing. But then I connected with someone at 988.
A real person texted back. Someone listened without judgment.
Now I know. Now I know it's okay to let someone help me too.
And I'm stronger than I thought.
We hear you. Call, text, or chat 988.
This year, WYDC is bringing you 25 New York Mets games free over the air this spring and summer. No fees and no subscription services. Tune into WJKP 48.2 to watch the New York Mets this MLB season. Let's go Mets!
How we start a conversation matters. Text CONVO to 51550 for weekly conversation starters and connect more with parenting.org from Boys Town.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s. Then we'll stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. Let's go through some viewer comments here and keep them coming in. We only have about a little under 15 minutes left to get everything said and done. All right. Comment from a viewer, and I think it's a fair one. I would like to know how Rick, how do you do a surprise attack on Iran by taking Americans out of the country? Don't you think the leaders would catch wind that Americans are leaving? Yes, leaving in droves. Again, there's always going to be criticism found if you're not willing to look in both directions and both sides. Ken writes in, if a Democrat president was doing exactly what Trump is in Iran, the legacy media, all the Dems, and the entire herd of sheeple would be praising his actions to keep the world safe from a nuclear Iran. I would agree. Thank you, Ken. All right. Quickly on New York, yesterday Siena released polling. I know we've had a lot of poll updates lately, but if you look at some of the takeaways, Hochul leads Bruce Blakeman, according to Siena, by 20 points. Now that is down from from January, when the last poll was released. So right now it's 51-31 Hochul. In January it was 54-28. So down, how many did it say? It says from January 26 points. Oh, I see. Okay. 6 quotes from Hochul let me try this again. 6 quotes from Hochul and Blakeman read to voters without attributing the quotes to either candidate, all garnered overwhelming bipartisan support. So we don't have to go through all these numbers, but it's worth mentioning about Hochul still with a resounding lead of around 20 points. Hochul's favorability rating is 46-42, down a little from 49-40 in January. A little bit different than the recent poll that we had from, where was it? I can't remember what, one of the many polling places. But listen to this. If you're not already upset at Albany, we were talking about energy. We heard from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano earlier at that press conference, talking about energy costs and what we have to deal with here in New York. New York State lawmakers are the highest paid state legislature in the country, thanks to a $32,000 raise they received back in 2022. That pushed their annual pay to $142,000. But despite the nation-leading pay, one state lawmaker just introduced legislation to raise salaries again. I've got to say, as a politician, that's pretty gutsy, especially in New York State. When you say, you know what my main cause is going to be? Making sure I get paid more. Making sure that and I'm sure it's not so much about his fellow co-workers. Senator James Sanders Jr. is sponsoring the bill, which would raise compensation for state lawmakers to $180,000 starting in 2028. The Queens Democrat also proposes an annual cost of living adjustment, COLA. This would increase to the salary each year after that to match an increase to the Consumer Price Index for urban consumers. That's kind of what they've done in Washington. Make it so you vote on it once and then you never vote on a raise again. Kind of that legacy. So then you can say, well, my hands are tied. I didn't want the raise, but what can I do? It's already a part of the COLA adjustment idea. The Senate bill reads, this bill would modernize legislative compensation standards to reflect the full-time, high-responsibility nature of service in the New York State legislature. Then they include what their job is and how he could justify the 26% raise. I would ask you, when's the last time you received a 26% raise? When they received a raise just back in 2022. I'm not going to go through what they think. Well, why not? We've got no, I don't have time. I was going to tell you what they thought could justify it, but I don't think there is any justification. A couple other things we're going to breeze through, so get your comments in before it's too late. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox.
What better way to start or end every day than relaxing in your very own Hesselson's hot tub? Massage therapy, relaxation, stress reliever, pain management, soothing muscles, or just spending time with a loved one, hot water therapy really does make every day better. Hesselson's has been a part of this great community for over 70 years, still being locally owned and operated. So make the drive to Hesselson's and start making your path to a better life today. And after 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Good morning. A dreary day does lie ahead for us. Cloudy skies, areas of fog may be a bit stubborn, and the potential for some scattered showers throughout much of the day. Temperatures topping off in the low and mid 40s. Then we'll stay just a couple degrees below that for a low temperature with additional rain chances tonight and more tomorrow, but we're pushing into mid 50s. So today is the coolest day ahead of us. More rain and 67 on Saturday, followed.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Let's go to some viewer comments as we wrap up today's edition. Ken writes in, New York Democrat legislators know that they are more important than the federal government, so they deserve more compensation than the representatives and senators. I agree, Ken. I think that is the mindset. Comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frankel. Good morning to you. You're a real multitasker today. I know we've had a lot of varying guests and a lot of different topics, unlike most liberals that are still scrolling to see what they're going to hate today. Thank you very much. But we talk about multitasking. Not only did we talk about St. Baldrick's and all their events coming up, starting tomorrow, and then bingo next week, and then the shave event, and then the day after the shave event. We have all of that. We talked about that with Amy Harpster. Then we talked with Mark Margison, which we appreciate him being a guest on the program. And then we also heard from Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. So think about that. A lot that we covered this morning. Okay, GOP Senator Tim Sheehy, we'll end on this note, on a kind of a strange note, sprang into action yesterday, helping law enforcement officers subdue a, quote, unhinged protester who began fighting at a hearing at the U.S. Capitol building. Dramatic video of the incident shows the protester, later identified as Green Party Senate candidate Brian McGinnis, resisting multiple Capitol police officers trying to remove him from a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. Sheehy, a former Navy SEAL, is seen jumping into the action and trying to yank the 44-year-old McGinnis, who was wearing a U.S. Marine Corps uniform, out of the room. The situation only calmed down after a loud snap was heard, which appeared to be the sound of the protester's arm breaking inside the Hart Senate office building. McGinnis of North Carolina has been refusing to let go of the door as Sheehy and officers tried removing him from the room. So during that, well, you can imagine. Sheehy wrote, Capitol Police were attempting to remove an unhinged protester from the Armed Services hearing. He was fighting back. I decided to help out and de-escalate the situation. The gentleman came to the Capitol looking for a confrontation, and he got one. I hope he gets the help he needs without causing further violence. Well, there you go. What a weird one. You don't expect that. Oh, also, there's an interesting piece by Philip Klein saying that no matter what the media is telling you, Marco Rubio didn't claim that Israel dragged Trump into the war on Iran. He says people are free to agree or disagree with Trump's decision, but it is patently clear that Rubio was not trying to argue that Israel dragged the U.S. into the war. Also, a story that we've been talking to you about. I know I'm moving quick. As New York energy costs surge, attention turns to the landmark climate law. Boy, we've been there from the beginning, folks, talking about the costs associated with because of this landmark climate law. And it took the bills to finally get, and it's as Joe Semplinsky said last time he was on the program, you've seen nothing yet when it comes to your bills. So if you're outraged, you've only seen the beginning. But now that does it. Thank you again to all of our guests, Amy Harpster, Mark Margison. Tomorrow, Assemblyman Phil Palmisano will be joining us on Monday. I know I'm getting ahead here, but on Monday, we will be talking with a cast member from the Book of Mormon, which will be playing at the Clemens Center soon. And then on Wednesday, we'll be talking with Chemung County Executive Chris Moss. Thursday, we're going to hear about an upcoming performance by Elmira College. Boy, we are moving fast next week and this week. But make sure you join us tomorrow for Assemblyman Phil Palmisano. And every weekday morning, join us for Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV. Big Fox, we will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Have a great day, everyone.
Allegiance flight from Elmira to Myrtle Beach starts May 22nd, 2026. Whether it's a weekend escape or a week in the sun, Myrtle Beach is closer than ever. Non-stop to sun, sand, and seaside days. From takeoff to toes in the sand, your coastal getaway starts right here at Elmira Corning Regional. Mornings on the boardwalk, afternoons on the golf course, and evenings with oceanfront dining or a flight away with Allegiant's new direct flight. Starts May 22nd, 2026. Book now at AllegiantAir.com.